here for Smash This Podcast. I didn't want to go the entire week without doing something, especially not missing some Lucha Underground action. And because there really wasn't much else this week to talk about. I know we've got Money in the Bank coming up soon, and I'm kind of excited about that. Going to be some historical things that they're doing there with the women's Money in the Bank match and stuff. But other than that, I tried watching TNA, couldn't even get all the way through that episode. That was just ridiculous because in every single segment, you've got Matthews and Borash bitching at each other constantly. Completely kills the episode, and it's so sad. So it was such a historic thing that they were doing in Impact Wrestling, and they completely destroyed their product by shoving the worst rivalry down our throats throughout every segment of an episode. But enough about that BS. Let's talk some Lucha Underground. What a loaded episode we got. This is number 21, Sudden Death. The continuation of the Mac versus Mundo. And no shortage of shenanigans. Tons of shenanigans. We got Ricky Mandel making his presence known more, which he gets chased away by Sexy Star, which was pretty damn funny. PJ Black hiding under the ring, and that didn't last too long because he ends up getting a stunner on the apron and then goes through a table. Epic spot, absolutely epic spot. But then what puts the nail in the coffin of the match, so to speak, Taya coming out and helping Mundo against the Mac. The Mac taking a brutal power bomb over the top rope, down to the floor, on top of chairs. Holy crap, what a spot. And for a match that's a continuation, say, oh, well, we've seen enough of this. No, but they throw so many extra little things in there. It's what makes it work. And these two really do have good chemistry. It was a lot of fun. And, the crowd, the crowd being behind the Mac so much, more Return of the Mac chants. Just an all-around great, what I'm assuming is going to be the conclusion of this rivalry to Mac going after the Lucha Underground Championship. Then we get quite the announcement from Dario Cueto. He comes out and announces the Cueto Cup, and Melissa Santos carrying it down to the ring. And he rips it out of her hands, and then he's like, sorry, there's only one gorgeous thing allowed in this ring at a time. It's oh, man, just brutal. Cueto, at his finest, just brutal. And putting himself over a lot in this promo. But hey, we love Cueto. 1 minute we love Cueto, next minute we hate Cueto. But that's Cueto. Comes up with great ideas, but then he knows how to really make you hate him 2 seconds later if he wants to. He announces the Cueto Cup. It's going to be a 32-man single. Oh, I shouldn't say man. It's probably going to be men and women. I'm assuming. Probably get people like Sexy Star in there and a few others. Hopefully, Eva Lise. We haven't seen her in a while. All sorts of them. But a 32 luchador single elimination tournament, and that's going to start next week. He also announced that the next contender for Mundo is going to be Rey Mysterio, and that's going to happen at the Cueto Cup. The winner of the Cueto Cup is then going to go on to face whoever the champion is at Ultima Lucha Trace. And that, I'm assuming, is going to be the season finale. So that's just a huge... So I don't know however long those matches are going to go on for, but man, you figure that's going to go a good chunk of the summer is this tournament, at least the next... that's going to go over the course of the next, I'm going to just guess and say 2 months. That is going to be a hell of a lot of fun to see who wins, who loses, who's going to go on and win the cup. I have a feeling I know who's going to win the cup, but I'm not going to say anything right now. But I've got my thoughts on that. I'll share them another time. We'll kind of wait till see, who's got some momentum going. But that's the great thing about Lucha Underground. You really never know. You can assume certain things are going to happen as far as wins and losses, but you really don't know. Do you know? No, you don't know. Then we get the second match of the night, Trios Championship match. Aerostar, Phoenix, and Drago against the group of Cobra Moon, Pindar, and Vibora. And action-packed match. A lot of... great to see guys like Aerostar. I haven't seen him in a while. Every once in a while I see him on a match down in AAA because he's down there too now as well. Along with... I think Drago's down there too. That's a guess. I think so. But I don't watch everything from AAA. I only watch, certain matches. Mainly with guys involved from Lucha Underground. Mundo, Cross, Taya, stuff like that. But yeah, great match between these two, and we have new Trios champions. And it all happens when it tries to tag in. They try to tag in Drago. Drago ends up misting Aerostar, turns on his group, and then goes to the other. Just walks over him, goes to the other side. They tag him in, and then I didn't get the. I don't remember the finisher, I apologize, but, they end up getting the pin on him, and, new Trios champions is Cobra Moon's, is that the Lizard group? The Reptile group? I can't remember what group that is, but obviously, crazy stuff. Good match, though, fun. I like watching these new guys, Pindar and Vibora, tear through some guys, so could be interesting to see what Aerostar and Phoenix do after this. Love to see. Cool to see Drago do the miss, though. Really cool spot. Then we get the locker room scene. Oh, and there was a locker room scene to kick off the episode. Before I forget. So yeah, I almost forgot it, but it's actually very significant. It shows Prince Puma, and he's hearing voices in his head. He should talk to Randy Orton about that. He's another guy with the whole voices thing, maybe. Rey Mysterio warns Prince Puma that Vampiro is using him and that he's not his friend, and Prince Puma, he makes a kind of a viable point. He's like, oh, well, like everyone else was trying to get behind me and or use me, and so yeah. Rey Mysterio just trying to warn him about Vampiro, and couldn't get through to Puma. Puma takes off, and then all of a sudden Rey starts hearing voices. And that's kind of interesting. And not to get like too too deep or to look into this too much, but it makes you wonder, and I'm just saying in the story, okay, for storyline's sake, if Puma's hearing voices from Vampiro and then Mysterio's hearing voices, does that mean that Mysterio was also at one point brought back from Vampiro? Or does it just mean that Vampiro is just that powerful in the supernatural sense that he can control minds and alter decisions for other people like vampires do? So that's going to be interesting to see where that goes, you know? And that's also what we saw just in a very small snippet of the what I talked about, the season 3.5, season, second half of season 3 trailer. That little scene right there where Vampiro's talking to Rey Mysterio, saying, "I'm going to send you straight to hell," just like Puma's last mentor, you know? So, yeah, that's going to be... I can't wait to see where that goes. Does that mean we're going to get a match between Rey Mysterio and Vampiro? Oh, man. And that's one thing that we don't really know, is how much Vampiro is going to be in the ring this season. He had the match, in season 1 with Pentagon. He did not have a match in... Wait, did he have a match in season 2? No, he got involved in season 2 with Pentagon in the match, but he didn't have a match himself. But now, as of recently, if you noticed, if you follow Vampiro and AAA and stuff, Vamp's been back in the ring lately. He's had a couple matches. He had one over in Europe somewhere, I think in Germany or something, against someone. I'm sorry, I don't remember who. But he's also got a match coming up, I think, within the next week or two with Kevin Cross in Vegas. Vampiro versus Kevin Cross. Holy shit. That's crazy. When Kevin Cross announced that, I commented on that. I'm like, okay, I don't know how many matches Vamp has left in him, but I tell you what, that's a must-see. Because Kevin Cross is one of those guys, once you see him, if you haven't seen him before, you need to go find his shit. Seriously, Kevin Cross is a guy you need to follow. And once you do, you'll understand. You will, trust me. So yeah, back to Lucha Underground. It's going to be interesting to see, where this whole thing with Vampiro and Rey and Puma goes. And then, and then on to the other backstage segment. This one obviously much more comical. After Mundo's win, he's in the locker room, just got out of the shower. He's got a towel on, and he says to Ricky, what did Vamp call him during the match? Ricky Martel? It's not Ricky Martel. Ricky Mandel. That was funny, though, Vamp. He's like, hey, where's the champagne? Oh, and Taya put it on hold. Well, why? We should be celebrating. Taya comes in and says, oh, they just announced your match with Rey Mysterio for the Cueto Cup. Sends Ricky away. He says, and Mundo says to Taya, says, well, I didn't want him to see me scared, but I'm going to have to train for this like I've never trained before against Rey Mysterio. And he's like, I got to go to my dojo. He starts walking away, and Taya's like, aren't you going to put some clothes on or some pants? Mundo just keeps walking. I don't have time for pants. He walks away in his towel. Oh my god, I played that back several times. It was so damn funny. So funny. Mundo's great. He could be, a serious badass in the ring, and then all of a sudden in a backstage segment, cutting it up. Classic, great stuff. And then we go on to the main event, the Boyle Heights Street Fight. With Mil Muertes with Katrina against Prince Puma. And Vamp gets involved in this one. Interesting. That's towards the end of the match. But a brutal match all over the place. One note I wrote down here, the Van Puminator. Doing one like I've never seen before. You always see like Shane go coast to coast, from one end of the ring to the other, kicking the trash can into the opponent. Friggin' Puma does like a somersault flip into it. I've never seen... I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before. I don't even think Rob Van Dam's ever done that. That was insane. Just shows again why Puma is so good. His athletic ability is just through the roof. It's unbelievable. And then towards the end, when it starts looking like Puma's getting some momentum, Katrina hits him with the rock. They call it the rock. No, hits him with the stone, the power stone, stone of power, whatever. The stone she holds up, that holds the influence over Bill Muertes. Hits Puma with that, and then Vampiro hands a brick to Puma, and he just busts it over Mil Muertes' head, and then gets the pin. And Vampiro just looks on at the end of the match with a lot of approval. So yeah, just wow, just a crazy loaded episode. Great continuation from Mac and Mundo's fight, and put the exclamation point on that, and then you got the street fight and the trios championship fight, plus all the little in between storyline segment parts. Just it's how you do an hour of television, folks. Seriously, it's how you do an hour of television. You watch 3 hours of Raw, and you're freaking exhausted by the end of it. And for what? It's just, and that's something I'm going to be talking about on here soon. I'm going to try to put a panel together as far as like the state of wrestling, what you like, what you don't like, what we can do to make it better as fans, just overall different opinions, going to talk to different people about what's going on in the world of wrestling. That's coming up. I'm going to try to put together a good panel of good brothers, So, and it's just figuring out schedules. That's the hardest part. Trying to get everyone together and at one time. That's the hardest part of it. So yeah, epic episode. Cueto Cup starts next week. Can't wait to see who's a part of that. Yeah, and also going to try to get some help reviewing Lucha Underground. I'm going to have some friends jump on here with me from time to time. Some old friends I haven't worked with in a while. Sorely missed. Absolutely good. Some more good brothers. So yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to see what comes next week. It's going to be loaded. See you there.